Hey, what is up, you guys? This is Antho, and today I'm going to bring you another update on my Seismic Trap Inquisitor. Changes I've made are I've incorporated an Arn's Anguish into the build, along with an Enduring Composure Small Cluster Drill for 45% increased armor, and one endurance charge every second if you've been hit recently. So, what Arn's Anguish does is it turns endurance charges into brutal charges. And brutal charges give you a 3% chance to deal triple damage and 10% increased stun threshold, which doesn't matter because we have unwavering stance from our Skin of the Lords, so you're not going to get stunned ever. But we have 3% chance to deal triple damage per endurance charge, or per brutal charge that's converted. And this gives +1 endurance charges, and you get 1 endurance charge if you've been hit recently, so that's 4 seconds. Recently is always 4 seconds, so we're always at maximum brutal charges if we've been hit. So that is 12% chance to deal triple damage, which is equivalent to 24% chance to deal double damage, which is equivalent to 24% more damage. And Arn's Anguish is great because it also gives a lot of armor, 600 to 700 armor, which is just fantastic, and a lot of fire res. We don't really need the res because our res is really good. But I'm going to go over PoB and show you a couple adjustments, because unfortunately the Pride Eternal Blessing bug is finally being fixed, which is a sad day, which means we need to find another way to get Pride into our build. So we're going to be going 1.2 million to about 900,000 K average hit, because we're going to have to drop some Inquisitor bots, and we're going to have to pick up an Enlighten 3. I didn't want to hinge on Enlighten 4 because they're incredibly expensive and I just don't have that money. I mean, I could buy it if I sell, like, I have like an 800 PDPS sword I'm selling for like 12x. I already crafted another one of these that sold for like the same, so this one probably should sell in the next couple days. But I could buy one, but I want to get an Unnatural Instinct as well for the variant of the build I'm going to be transitioning into that I'll show you in a minute here. But this variant deals with 900k average hit, has an effective hit roll about 110k, which is really solid. And we drop some Inquisitor bots. We pick up Vitality, Mono Reservation Efficiency Mastery. We're dropping these 3 points here. And then we have to pick up mana so we can actually be able to do unreserved mana. Alternatively, we can drop these 2 and then pick up these 3 here, but then we're out of point. Sorry, I got phlegm in my throat. And then we would have to drop something like this. I really don't want to have to do... Actually, we can probably drop this. That's just a little bit of life. Actually, that's probably what I'm going to do. Actually, I get 100 unreserved mana. A lot more unreserved mana. Actually, maybe we can drop Enlighten. Nope. I could not drop Enlighten. However, you can go with an Enlighten too. But that is assuming you have like mana on your boots, and then mana on both of your rings, and mana on your helmet, which you're likely not going to have. So I'll probably go with this PoB. I'm going to save that. Pick up 3 points for the 8% reservation efficiency over here. Just go 1, 2, 3, and then this also gets you a little bit of damage. Actually, a solid bit of damage, 24,000k average hit. And about 50 net regen, which is nice. And almost 2,000 armor. That's really nice. Alright, so I would go with that. And then just drop this 1 life node here, which isn't really necessary because life isn't really necessary in our build. Like, defenses affect our effective hit pool a lot more than just raw life. Like, if we drop all 4 of these, our effective hit pool doesn't even change. And that might just be PoE being quirky. But Corrupted Soul is good for a while, but Corrupted Soul is not going to be in the end game. Because it's 50% of non-chaos damage bypasses Energy Shield. So if you can get a solid amount of Energy Shield without Corrupted Soul, Corrupted Soul's not worth it, because if you have like 4,000 energy shield, Corrupted Soul effectively makes that 2,000 energy shield. 50% of damage is bypassing it. So Corrupted Soul's good if you have low energy shield to begin with. Like if you have 0 energy shield and you have a lot of life and you just want energy shield as an additional buffer, Corrupted Soul's great. But I will show you what I've done with the other version, which has an average hit of about 750k, but has an effective hit of about 300k, is the Aegis Aurora version, which, of course, the Aegis Aurora gives a lot of armor, a lot of energy shield, and replenishes energy shield by 2% of armor when you block. So if we have 67,855 armor times 0.02, that's 1,300 energy shield regained every single time you block. And we have 75 spell block and 53 attack block. So that's going to be like all the time. If you're getting spammed by attacks and spells, and honestly the most spammy things that can hit you in the game are generally spells. Like, for example, tools like Ice Spray that can hit you like a million times is a spell. So you're just going to get 1,300 energy shield back every time, 3/4 of the time. And then not only is this like probably a better version, a tankier version, because it's the best of both worlds. Basically, recovery comes in 2 ways: passive recovery and active recovery. Active recovery is stuff like leech, where you have to be hitting an enemy and recovering it. Passive recovery stuff like regen and recoup when you take damage. Actually, no, recoup is probably an active recovery because you have to get hit first. Life unblock's also an active recovery. You have to be hit for it to work. Doesn't work for like damage over time stuff. Doesn't work for walking on desecrated ground. Doesn't work for walking on burning ground. Doesn't work if you get ignited or bled. But get rid of that. Get rid of that. Get rid of some of these unused things I was using before. Okay. So as we said, 300k, 75, 53, spell block, attack block, and we get a lot easier resistance capped because we get 6% all res, 6% all res, 6% all res, 12% all res, 10% all res, 18% lightning res, 18% cold res, 18% fire res. That's so much res. So that's what, let's see, 6, 12, 18, 30, 40, and then 3 of each, so 58. 58% all res, so 58 times 3. I could do this in my head, but I'm too lazy. 174% res from the tree, which is just amazing. That's just so much res. 58% is basically almost enough to bring you from -60 up to 0, which means you only need like 87% res on all 3 elements to get like overcapped enough for LE weakness maps and conductivity, flammability, and frostbite maps. Because remember, we have 75% reduced effect of curses on us due to the 50% increased effect of consecrated ground, and consecrated ground already gives you 50% reduced effect of curses. So that's fantastic. So this version is probably what I'm going to be running with in the end game. It does require an unnatural instinct. I mean, not required, but see, we're still like overcapped on res easily, but it gives you like 50k damage and 18% all res. It also gives you some dexterity, so you your dexterity and gear is a little bit less required on having like, I have like 60 dexterity on my gloves. But then again, since you have so much percent all res, it's a lot easier to get dex on your rings because you don't need as much insane res in your rings or your boots. So this is still for using Forbidden Flame, Forbidden Flesh for Radiant Faith. Not using a large cluster jewel in this version. Simply using a medium cluster jewel and then a Drain Composure. But pretty much, yeah, this is a level 100 tree, so if you were to not be level 100, you should probably just take away the Unnatural Instinct stuff. Now you're back at 92 with 600k average hit. So that's pretty much it. Pretty much the update. I'm not gonna have any gameplay footage, but that's pretty much how it is. I would go for the Aegis Aurora version because it's the best of both worlds. It's got both active and passive recovery when you get hit, and then 4,000 net regen when you don't get hit. So for like if you get chunked for a big hit and you recover a little bit back, actually you don't. If you get chunked for a big hit, you don't block. You know, your block misses and you take like, let's say 3,000 total damage across your ES and HP pools, and you're left with like 500 life. You're just stuck with 500 life because you don't really have that much regen. However, we have 4,000 net regen, so bam, 1 second you're back at full. So even without blocking any hits or getting recovery, so it's basically the best of both worlds, active and passive recovery. So peace out.